we don't on the screen.
Well, you're on the
Well, hey, that's all right. Welcome, everyone, to the Align Your Life show. So glad you're here. Thanks for being here. We have a great show lined up for today, off to a good start already. My name is Jenny Parks. I am your host. I'm a health and prosperity professional, integrative nutrition coach, and wellness advocate. The Align Your Life show is all about empowering people towards living a life of enrichment. My guests today are Laurie Sparks, Julia Curry, and Heather Bischoff. These ladies all own their own businesses and have learned a lot along the way of what it takes to be an entrepreneur and all of the things that pop up that are unexpected along the journey. And so they'll be sharing a lot of what they've learned. First, why don't you all introduce yourself? Welcome.
Thank you.
Laurie, if you'd like to take it away, introduce yourself, let them know a little bit about you.
Sure, thank you. I'm a hypnotherapist. I'm also an energy worker. So basically what I do is I listen to my clients. I find out what they need to kind of unblock them or anything that's getting in their way, and then I give them the tools that they need to just blast right through it. Be the best that they can do.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm Julia Curry, and I'm an eating psychology coach, and I help women transform their relationship with food and make peace with their bodies. And I also am a speaker, so take it away, Heather.
Well, yes, I would love to. Thank you, Julia. I am Heather Bischoff, and I've been here before, so it's good to be back. And hello. I am a personal and leadership development coach and consultant, and I help women primarily in small businesses with leadership and personal development.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies. So I'm so excited to be talking about this today because 90% of people have dreams that they never go for, set goals that they don't achieve, that they eventually quit or fall behind on, and just really lose sight of what that was for them at one point in their life. And I think the dream never really dies. So what I would love to start off with is hearing from each of you your input on what it was that allowed you to move forward, allowed you to actually move beyond that point that most people don't get past. Whoever wants to jump in first.
Well, for me, I couldn't get away from it. I tried. And so
Yeah.
I felt like this calling, whisper, whatever you want to call it, probably 7 years before my business actually began. And for me, it was, I couldn't deny it anymore. It wouldn't go away. Things started to really fall into place. And so I just decided I can't run from this, so I may as well run with it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I think for me, a lot of it was feeling a sense of, you know, now I had found the freedom that I was looking for because I struggled with my food relationships so much for so many years and just with body hatred and all those things, and had tried like so many different avenues that still did not work, and I kept feeling like a failure and like, you know, it was just inhibiting all the things I was wanting to do. But once I found out and realized, somebody said, you know, you have, and now that you've sort of found the way, you have met the gap. You know, you kept finding gaps in everything you tried. Well, now you found it, so you need to stand in that space and do that kind of work. So at that moment, I feel like that woman imparted that into me, this sense of responsibility. Like, this is what I'm here. This is what I'm here to do. I know that kind of suffering, and I know how to help people out of it. And so that, I feel like that was sort of one of those aha moments for me. And in the rest, you know, it was a big, just like a walk of faith. How that was going to unfold.
Yes. I agree with Heather very much. I think that when you feel like you're being called to something, for me, I came from an entrepreneurial background, so I was never afraid of jumping out there. But I also was really asking at this point in my life, you know, what am I supposed to be doing here to serve? And when hypnosis came to me and the work with energy, people talk about burning desire, and that's just what it was. It consumed me. I couldn't learn enough. I just wanted to run with what I had because I felt like as soon as I had something, I knew that there were people I could help with it. So, you know, when people say, oh, they've got to have their business perfect before they start, you do not. You know, everything in life is an unfolding. So when you have something, share it, because that's something more than maybe someone else has. And so just start rolling.
Yeah, I know a big part for me has been jumping in without knowing how the heck it's going to work out.
Yes.
And you do figure your way along the way. You figure it out as you go, and there's really no other way to do it. If you wait until you have all the pieces together, it will never happen because
Right.
the pieces will never all come together. So you're all moms, 2 of you with children at home still. You all have significant others. Some of you have business endeavors outside of just your business. So it would be real easy to find an excuse there. Too busy, I have kids, I can't be away from them, I'll feel guilty. I mean, you name it, I'm sure it's gone through your head. So can you touch on that a little bit? Because I think a lot of people have burning desires. A lot of people have that, and they squash it, and they squash it, and they squash it, and they're unfulfilled, and they're not happy, and then it starts to bleed out into other areas of their life, whether they're making that connection or not. That's what tends to happen. So how do you move beyond just the excuses?
Well, I think when the excuses run out,
So like hitting rock bottom?
it's kind of like hitting rock bottom. I mean, for me, and I don't know about you ladies, there's always excuses, and it's kind of, it comes down to that quote that just really I wasn't able to live with. Who are your fears going to keep you from helping? And I just couldn't live with that, and I just felt like, for whatever reason, I've had the experiences that I've had. They resonate with so many people. If I can help them through that, then why not me? It's not about me, but why not me?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lori or Julia?
Well, I was just gonna say, it was cool for me because I've had a couple of businesses. One, I still had kids at home, and this one I don't. But the thing is that if you're trying to teach your kids to honor themselves and honor what their passions are and go after that, then you have to be that role model too, and you have to honor yours, and they have to be willing to share their time with you, just like you will share their time in whatever they want to do.
Absolutely.
So it's really a great lesson, to teach them too, that you're just as important, and you want to step up to the plate. And my kids love watching this. My biggest supporters.
Absolutely. And, I think that's part of, my husband and I are both entrepreneurs, and so my kids are totally swept up in the entrepreneur life. And, we moved here, again, not having everything figured out before we moved. Once we both had our own businesses, it's like our family, we included them together. We were dreaming together, envisioning together. So it's not just about my husband, it's about our businesses. But, it's like I look at our businesses as it's another member of the family that we're building relationship with. So what is our business asking from us? What are we asking from our business? What's it trying to give us? Those kind of things. I feel like we're all this one big dysfunctional family, and it's great.
Fantastic. That's the end of the show. But it's true, isn't it? I mean, it's so true. Yeah, and I love that point. You build it together as a family, because that is such a key component that I think a lot of people miss out on. We make it about ourselves, and we make it about whether we can actually do it, whether we're going to fail, whether we're going to succeed, how are we going to do it. Bringing the family around you not only is a great support, but my gosh, what an example for your children to really go for their dreams, like what you said.
And I also want to add on something, because she talked about how the business is a relationship, and when we look at our goals as a relationship and have relationship with our goals, we treat them so much differently. And so when we're looking at excuses, if we look at that excuse as a relationship, we may not give it as much wiggle room as we would if we just look at it as an excuse.
That's a great perspective to have. It really shifts the way that we see that.
I'm all
and think
about the
that.
shift.
Love it. Love this shift, man.
We love this shift. Love this shift.
We have to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to talk about self-sabotage, because I think that's a really big thing for a lot of entrepreneurs. Once we get going, we tend to sabotage the process. So when we be back, we be talking about that. Be right back.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage. Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
There you go.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Align Your Life show, here with Laurie Sparks, Julia Curry, and Heather Bischoff, three leading entrepreneurs, and they have a lot of experience with what it has been like for them to build their own businesses and to come to the point where they are now, and you still have a ways to go. I know you all have goals that you're working towards right now. Let's take just a brief second, though, for each of you to share with everyone how they can get in touch with you.
Okay, you can either go to my website, www.practicalhypnosisllc.com. Had to think about that for a moment. Or you can reach me by phone, 317-525-8486.
And you can reach me. My email is info@juliacurry.com, or I hang out a lot on Facebook. So you can find me at Julia Curry, Curry, and my website is juliacurry.com.
And you can find me at dragonflydirection.com. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at hbischoff, or you can catch me at Dragonfly Direction.
Thank you, ladies. So let's talk about self-sabotage, because I know a lot of people, irregardless of what they're doing in their life, whether it is business related or maybe it's just a health goal or something like that, we get going, we're feeling good, maybe we've reached the goal, so suddenly we pull back and we start to go backwards. A little bit, and then it kind of starts to snowball, and finally we're at this point where we feel like we're starting all over again because we've once again sabotaged ourselves. Can any of you, what does that bring up? What's the first thing that pops in your head?
Well, I think a lot of women specifically are afraid of success because they're not quite sure what it's going to cost them. And so many times women have been raised or grown up not to be the center of attention, because if you're the center of attention, stay away from that girl. And so I think for me, personally, I know, I've talked to some of my other entrepreneurial friends, and I've set up blocks in my business completely unintentionally, but it's kind of like that subconscious where, someone would be reaching out to me and I send them to my website rather than just schedule them. And just doing stuff like that, because I think sometimes you get so focused on, well, my business needs to look like this,
Yes.
so it has to happen like this.
Absolutely.
If it doesn't happen like this, it can't happen. And so you unintentionally put these blocks in place and essentially are self-sabotaging yourself.
So you have to interrupt that pattern in some way, because
Yes.
I can relate to that too. I mean, I can rattle off in my brain a million times I've done things like that.
Yeah.
And once you create that awareness, though, then it becomes more of a norm to not do those things.
Right.
But it takes a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of patience.
Yes.
It reminds me of, when Brene Brown talked about one of the emotions we're most afraid of is joy. And, us being afraid of our own light. I mean, in those ways, it's scarier, and we try, because then there's something to lose, right? Like in our businesses, because we have, that's a primary relationship in a lot of ways. So we think, it's hard not to take things personally if they don't go exactly like we want them to.
Right.
And so we feel there's a lot to lose, so it's like scared to get too happy with things or whatever,
Yes.
right? Or too okay with where things are, and then we find ourselves in this perpetual comparison with other people,
Yes.
or restlessness. I gotta do more, and it's
There's
hard
no
just to
comparison among
enjoy.
women entrepreneurs.
No.
No.
Anyways. So, I think for me learning that, I was that's the resistance, and that's kind of what I talked about yesterday on my Facebook page, is just like the resistance. Every time we're growing into a new space, we're going to hit that wall,
Yep.
and that wall is the resistance. And as we see it, like you said, and notice it, that becomes the actual fuel that just catapults us to the next. But I noticed my resistance was to joy, and to just letting my business give me gifts, and just being okay with it. Other people would have to say to me, "Don't you realize like this is a big deal? Like what's happening is a good." So I'm like, what? I'm just over here worried about it and freaking out. No, what's happening? Tell me. So yeah, sabotage.
Well, sabotage keeps me in business, so if you got it. Just saying. But you know, it is, it's alignment. You know, I call myself like a mental chiropractor because it's keeping that subconscious and the conscious mind in alignment. Those things that block us are old belief systems, things that yes, you can fix them in our conscious mind, but it takes a lot of effort and it takes a lot of time. And so sometimes when people are really trying to make that big breakthrough and they're gung-ho and they're on board, but something in them, you know, they're hitting those blocks, those belief systems. So then, you know, we do hypnosis. It just gets you to that altered state where you have all your own answers, you know, but it's a quick alignment. It brings the subconscious and the conscious all on board, so, you know, we can just say, look, whatever doesn't serve you, let it go, you know, and then just feeling that alignment coming back into place, then you can start moving forward again.
Yeah, I think, you know, when I consider that for myself, it's being just really loose with my business because I can be a control freak and
No.
and just a little bit and
I hear backstage people.
but really you just have to remain loose with it and knowing, like I think you were saying, that it's not going to unfold the way that you exactly see it unfolding, and as soon as you know, grab a hold of that, and that's the way it has to be, you know, those are the steps backwards. It's very difficult to move forward when you can't just remain loose with it. And again, it goes back to just not knowing how it's going to unfold, but having faith and trusting the process.
It really is the spirit. It is the spiritual formation.
Absolutely. Such a good point. I'm glad you brought that up because I think any entrepreneurial endeavor is all about personal growth. It's more about personal growth than it is business.
Crack.
Yeah. Personal growth times 100.
Yes.
You have to be
Yes.
working on your. You will not survive if you're not. Wouldn't you agree?
Opportunities, or I'm a little not very nice to people. So I mean, I leave room for flexibility, but I really do like to have somewhat of routine and things to be kind of scheduled out because it helps me to GSD and it helps me to get things accomplished so that I feel like I am moving forward to accomplish those things that are important to me and to other people.
Awesome. Schedules are important. I agree. But I've got an inner rebel too. I don't really like to have my entire day scheduled out. I mean, I've got to have some pockets in there where I can just do what I want to do because I want to do
They're
it.
scheduled.
Yes.
And that's
scheduled pockets.
And it's the knowing yourself.
Yeah.
And like another thing too is for me, it's like, you know, we have like the masculine and the feminine, and the schedule is like the masculine, that's the direction, that's the form we need so that the feminine can flow. And so I have, you know, it's a dance, right?
Yes, it is.
Right?
It is a dance.
And we all do it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Yep. And sometimes balance exists and sometimes it doesn't.
No, exactly.
We have to take another quick break, but when we come back, we'll continue our talk about entrepreneurship. Be right back.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage: Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. and we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
There you are.
Welcome back to the Align Your Life show. Julie is going to chant for us now.
Or not.
We're talking about entrepreneurship here with Laurie Sparks, Julia Curry, and Heather Bischoff. One of the things that I know has been so instrumental for me for the last 2 years since I've kind of jumped out on my own, and I say this all the time, you've heard me say it, is having a group of like-minded people. Crazy ones and not so crazy ones. But it has made all the difference for me because, first of all, I had no idea what I was doing. So, you know, being surrounded by people who have been there, done that, you know, they're blazing that trail, and you can kind of follow and pick up on the things that resonate with you and take those with you and collect more and more breadcrumbs along the way that resonate with you and keep you on your path and keep you building. And then when you run into the blocks, the wall kicking moments, the things that aren't going right, when you're getting too much inside of yourself, when you start making it about you again, you know, yes, those people tend to pull you out. So I know you all agree with that. What's maybe something else that has been instrumental for you along the way that maybe you didn't even see before but you're seeing now?
Well, I'll go first. I think for me, it's seeing my journey through my children's eyes.
Oh, yes.
One of the things that my children have shared with me is just my son, who's 22, who had at 16, said, you know, he shared with me as he was kind of watching my journey and some of the things that I'm doing and coming up, and he was like, Mom, it's like you're changing the legacy of our family.
Oh, isn't that awesome?
And so that definitely, you know, I think about
That's huge.
on
That's
those
amazing.
days where I'm just like, why am I doing this? You know, I remember that, and it's like, you know what, like there are people counting on me not to give up, and that this is too much. Like I'm having so much fun. Like why would I want to? And so that's what keeps me going. Is knowing that this is so much bigger than I even really know.
Having a really strong, profound why.
Yeah.
And just knowing that you're not going to even maybe know the impact
Exactly.
that it's going to have,
Yeah.
but that it is going to have one.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Love that. How about you?
You know, I can't think of an area of life that the entrepreneurial, you know, endeavors that we have doesn't touch. I mean, I think of every facet of my life, family, you know, finances, this, that, the other, but, you know, I spent so many years hiding behind this fear of, you know, I just can't quite be myself. I've got to, you know, manage other people's impressions and make sure that I'm approved of and all of that. And a lot of that kept me in the food, you know, this fear. And so I think, you know, learning to come out of that hiding and learning to find that safety, the safest place to be is in my authentic self, you know, and that does make a difference who's around you and who's surrounding you, and you know, I just think there's nothing that doesn't affect. It affects everything in your life. It affects everybody around you, and it begins to, it's like we're tuning forks to everyone else in our lives. So when we give ourselves permission, there's just the ripple effect, you can't even quantify it.
No.
And of course, you know, for me, what continues to perpetuate me also is I have a healthy relationship with food now. I love my body. I'm just, you know, I'm not as afraid of joy. Still sometimes I get a little squirmy, but you know, I want that freedom for everybody, you know, and so it totally makes it worth it, and I certainly want it for my kids too. So just being the change, living it, all that good stuff. So
I think for me, you know, surrounding yourself is so important. Just, I feel like especially on days where I wake up and I don't know, I don't want to say I lost the passion, but sometimes you disconnect, you know,
Yeah.
you just get
Absolutely.
overwhelmed, and it's like,
Well,
you
it's
know,
hard work.
Right, yeah, it's very hard work.
we look
Right.
so glamorous,
Yeah,
right? Wait till we go home.
Right. But I immerse myself in a lot of ways. I always have something in the car that's a CD or something, people that motivate me, that I believe in, that reconnect me to my passion, or just even following curiosity. Like I'll get up one day and I'll be like, what if I did this, or I added this, and that keeps my creativity going too. So, curiosity is an awesome thing, but just immersing ourselves and surrounding ourselves with this, because it takes an army. Sometimes, it really takes an army, and it's okay to rely on others. I don't know what I would do without you guys. We can text, oh my gosh, this is what's going on. So that's just it. That's really helpful. But immersing ourselves, and then if all else fails, go out into nature.
So true.
I can just
Go
go
hug a
out, take my shoes off, sit in the grass, or go out and
Roll
just
around. Yes.
breathe, reconnect.
Yeah, but if I could just add one more thing, I
Absolutely.
think the thing that is so cool about the four of us is that we are really real with each other.
Yes.
Like, we don't. There's no mask. There's no
Right.
pretending. There's
Right.
oh my gosh, this happened. This is awesome, and oh my gosh, ugh, this
Let
was
me put
terrible.
my head down.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that it goes to speak to what you were talking about, the support system, but just we have those real conversations, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever.
Absolutely. Together we're better. And
Yeah.
And I think we need that even more so, because a lot of times what's portrayed on social media for business owners, and
Oh.
can we not all get caught up in that?
Absolutely.
It all looks great. It looks like everything's going
Yes.
fabulous all
You're
the
so
time.
successful.
Yeah. So it's so imperative that we get real with one another,
Yeah.
and that we can share each other's joys and struggles and all that kind of stuff. So
That's what keeps us going, and that's what will keep other
Absolutely.
people going. The more that we can be that mirror for other people, we've talked about this
Right.
many times before,
Right.
the
Yes.
vulnerable side of ourselves, when we
Right.
can let that go, let that
Right.
unleash for other people. It really empowers other people, and it empowers us even more so.
Right.
So thank you
Absolutely.
so much, ladies. I always love your input. Always love spending time with you. Let's talk real quick about any events coming up, and again, how people can get in touch with you. Do you want to start, Laurie?
Yes, I should have my little calendar right here in front of me, but go to my website, www.practicalhypnosisllc.com. We put all of our upcoming events on there. We've got some great new practitioners coming into our office and working through there, so that is exciting. And then you can also find me on Facebook at Practical Hypnosis. I'm on Twitter at Real Sparkles. Just saying. Or you can reach me by phone, 317-525-8486.
you can reach me on Facebook. That's usually the best place to find me, and my current offerings will always be listed there as well. I will be having a virtual class coming up in the next couple months. Heather's going to help me get that a little structured. Yeah, but I'm very excited about that, because I've done in-group classes, but it's my first time now I'm doing virtual so that I can reach more people and we can find that healing together. And I also have a retreat coming up in September. Heather and I will be doing a Sacred Nourishment Retreat,
Oh,
Part
fantastic.
2. So
Yay.
the first one was amazing. And again, if you, juliacurry.com, that's my website, find me there. And if you subscribe to my newsletter, you will always be caught up on all those events.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you can go to dragonflydirection.com, sign up for the newsletter. I am not doing the newsletter that much this year, so your inbox will not get flooded. It's about twice a month. I have a new offering that I think I shared with you ladies. It's called The Art of Receiving 30 Days to Mastering a Constant Flow of Opportunity. So that is going to be launched this week.
Yay! Love
Yay!
it.
So you can sign up for that. And we have the retreat in September, and then there's also Getaway Camp, which is in Asheville, North Carolina. Lori went to that last year.
Awesome.
Yes, it's going to be Labor Day weekend, so stay tuned for all of that stuff. But you can find me on Facebook or Heather at dragonflydirection.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Next Tuesday at Laurie's Place in Fishers, Practical Hypnosis, we will be holding a nutritional cleansing and rebalancing presentation. So if you have any goals that you're working on, any health-related goals, if you just need a reset or a reboot, show up and you can learn a little bit more about that. April 2nd and 3rd, it's a Saturday and a Sunday at the Noblesville State Fairgrounds. Noblesville Fairgrounds. Good Journeys here in Noblesville is holding a health and psychic fair. I'll be there both days. I'll be speaking at noon on Sunday, and then the Indiana Indie Holistic Hub is having a Wellness Fest June 25th, so mark your calendars for that. Not too many details, other than it'll be really great. You'll want to be there. Thank you to Jim Wofford, Logan Street Signs and Banners, for allowing us to be here and for putting up with me. And if you want to reach me, find me on Facebook. That's always the best way. Thanks so much for being here. We'll be back next Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Bye.
Bye.